So Dr. Jill Biden kicked off our very first 50 over 50 list over 2 years ago at our event in New York City. And we've learned with these lists, that's a partnership between Forbes and Know Your Value, that women like us, like many of us here in the room, we have arrived. And for the younger women in the room, the message is there's no reason to rush. I wish I knew that at 30, but we now know it at least. Our list immediately went global because there are so many like us, women who are really discovering that they can have their greatest impact. They can work full-time. They can start families. They can make money. They can do whatever they want, well over 50, 60, 70, 80, even 90. When you were in your 20s, did you envision your career after the age of 50?
No, not really, because when I was in my 20s, I was at the University of Delaware riding my 10-speed around campus, and was the Vietnam War,
wow.
Bell Bottoms, Love Beats, ERA. So,
wow.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was like white space, and
Yes,
a lot of women tell me that. And now look, I mean, the impact that you can have. You were at work this morning.
I was at work this morning, yes.
Teaching. At Nova, still.
Yes. Teachers' meetings, that's right.
Teachers' meetings, okay. It's amazing. And I love the fact that you have held on to your career. It's quite groundbreaking as a First Lady of doing that. Women in general have to confront stereotypes. I think society likes to put us in boxes. As First Lady, with such scrutiny every day, this must be a box on steroids that you feel like you are in. How have you broken the mold?
Well, I think I didn't intend to break the mold, but I guess because I work, I have a paid job. Right. And but you have to remember, I think if most Americans think of First Ladies and say, oh, what does the First Lady do? They say, oh, you know, she hosts state dinners and maybe has one initiative. But that's not really true. I think all the First Ladies in my lifetime had many initiatives, just like I have. I came into office, but when we came into office, it was totally different, as you all remember. The pandemic, the insurrection, 2 weeks before.
The place was boarded up.
Yes, and you know, fences everywhere. But I came in thinking that I wanted to work what I had always worked on: military families, education, community colleges, cancer. But then the pandemic was happening, and so I had to get to work and travel around the country, get shots in people's arms, get schools open, give people confidence that the vaccines were going to work. We had to get people back to work. So it was I had to put everything aside that I had planned to do and think of, if you can think back to 3 years ago, I mean, think what we were dealing with, think of the mental health issues that still continue.
Our kids still from the pandemic
for sure.
And social media, and there's still, it is all dragged on. So you talked about having a paid job, and I love this for the Know Your Value community, on making money. When you were a much younger woman, you went through a divorce and you struggled financially. Telling a major magazine, I knew I would never, ever put myself in that position again, when I didn't feel like I had the finances to be on my own. I drummed that into my daughter: be independent, be independent. And my granddaughters, you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Can you talk about the feeling that inspired that message that you were passing down, that you think is so important?
Well, I continue that with the women I mentor at my community college, and tell them they have to be independent, because you never, ever know what's going to happen in life. I mean, look at the parents who became single parents because of the deaths during the pandemic. I mean, you have to be ready and be able to just be independent, have your own money. My mother always said, always put money aside for yourself, make sure that you have that. And after going through a divorce and having depended on someone else. I was in college, so I learned very quickly, and it was a very harsh lesson.
And I like that you talk with people, with women, your daughters, or people that you mentor about money. It's okay to talk about money.
Yes. Now it is. It didn't. It wasn't
It didn't feel
always
that way, especially
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we were starting out our careers. It
Yeah.
felt very untoward.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I started Know Your Value.
Oh.
Because it's like, know your value. Talk about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Your value, the number. So the concept of you going to work during such a critical time, I'd love for you to share why that's a priority for you. And I know it's not about the money, but it's something for yourself, even maybe some joy.
It's something for me. And, I worked so hard. I raised a family. I had 3 children. I went to school to get advanced degrees. I took 1 course every semester. Wow. I walked across that stage at 55 years old, women over 50.
50 over 50. That's so cool. That's amazing.
And so, teaching is just mine. It's who I am. It gives me joy. My students make me laugh. They make me look at life in different ways. And so I love working.
Yeah. A lot has happened since our last 50 over 50 interview when you kicked off the lists for Know Your Value in Forbes, especially in regards to women's rights. Roe v. Wade overturned, access to abortion health care. It's been banned in many states across the country. And it really feels like a lot of our hard-won progress has been erased. Is anything in this realm giving you hope at this point?
Yes, it gives me hope. I think all the women in this room give me hope. We are not going to start fighting, are we? No. See, it's a major issue. I think that women across this country realize that. We have to keep fighting. Joe says he wants to codify Roe, and so every day we're going to be out there fighting. We're not going to stop.
Can you tell us about your new initiative, Women's Health Research? Mm-hmm. So is it possible, will your initiative be supporting kind of really integrating women's health into health in general? Because it seems like we don't talk about a lot of things, like menopause.
Yeah, no, that's right. And research for women's health has been underfunded for decades. Mm-hmm. And so consequently, all our medicines, all the research has been based on men and their health, right? And so
Just like all the pictures in the room over there, it's all men.
That's going to change. It's going to change.
You're changing, okay.
Just like this will change.
Okay.
And so just think about it. I mean, the things that we need to know more about, like osteoporosis, like menopause, like heart health.
Please.
Mental health, so many things that we need more research, we need more funding. And so I talked to Joe about it, and he signed the initiative. And so we're getting started. We're working because it's only fair. It's only fair that our health is studied, that we get more money to study it.
You held on tight to your career as an English teacher, even while your husband served as senator, vice president for 8 years, and in our nation's highest office as president. You also held on to another thing, real tight, your marriage. We've had a lot of questions from our Know Your Value community
really?
about that. Yes, 46 years, Jill. That's
46
a long time.
years.
What's the secret?
That's interesting that people want to know about it.
Well, they're just impressed. They're just impressed.
Well, I guess the secret is not to take one another for granted. So we don't. And every night I still light the candles. So I think those little things
Date
are
night
important.
every night?
Well, no, it's not date night. It's, I light the candles, but I always put flowers on the table. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And put your phone away and come talk to me.
Phones at the dinner table?
No. If you pick up your phone, I get up and walk out.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous with my phone next to me right now.
Yeah. Don't pick it up.
I'm not going to look at it. It's, they train your brain, though, to keep looking at it. I won't. That's nice. So the secret to a very long marriage is don't take each other for granted, dinner every night, no phones at the table.
Yep.
Are you at all nervous, fearful, stressed about the next 10 months?
No, I feel confident. I feel confident. I know that the campaign is going to be tough.
It's brutal.
But I am confident we're going to win.
What do you say to people who think you and your husband should confront the MAGA Republican criticisms against, and lies in some cases, against your family directly, and confront Trump directly?
Well, I think Joe's going to be doing that in the as the election, heats up, and so it's coming.
There's been so many attacks on your family. How do you cope? How do you help your family? Can you? Or
Well, it's not easy when you see your children especially attacked. I think Joe and I have been in politics for so many years that, you kind of get used to it. But
It's like
when
decades.
it hurts when it's your kids or your grandkids, there used to be a respect for not touching people's kids.
Right.
But that's no longer true. So
we reached out to the Know Your Value community. By the way, we got hundreds of questions. I won't ask you hundreds of questions, but we got such an amazing response, and they wanted to ask you some. So Emily Rowe on Instagram. Who do you see as the women who you believe are in the future to lead our country?
Oh my gosh, look at the women in this audience. Why
know.
not them, right?
Right.
Or I hosted Girls Leading Change, and I brought young girls to the White House. They had started all kinds of programs in their schools and their communities, against violence. Some were developing robotics programs. I mean, all kinds of things. And so as I travel around this country, I see amazing young women doing amazing things.
Yeah. This is Gina Wood on LinkedIn. What has been your most surprising and greatest joy of serving as FLOTUS?
I think my greatest joy has been really the ability to travel around and, lift up people. I think no matter whether it's celebrating teachers who, I love, or whether it's going to some disaster and people are just holding on tight because there's been a tornado or a fire and they just, all hope is lost, and just trying to lift them up and give them hope. And I think that's my greatest joy.
So advice to your younger self, a little twist on that question, and a 50 over 50 twist. I look at all the women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s who are making these lists around the world, and I'm looking at what they're doing, and I'm realizing that my advice to my younger self would have been to slow down and enjoy the moment. Take some time off. Do what you want to do and let things happen as they happen instead of trying to check off a million things.
I don't know. I kind of think the opposite.
Like, tell me.
Do everything, because try everything,
Okay,
because
girls,
why
come on, let's go.
not?
Yeah.
Why not?
But I agree. I think we're saying the same thing. I think it's do everything, but enjoy the moment. Instead of like,
definitely
I've got to get this done.
enjoy the moment. Of course.
Like you don't have to rush.
course.
There isn't
Yeah.
a ticking clock.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you for some advice for women who are very concerned about the future of our country, especially since we have women in this room who are going to grow up in a world who without the rights that we had.
Yeah.
We seem to be going in the wrong direction. Not only what is your hope or inspiration for them, but what can they do?
There's so much they can do and so much they have to do. I mean, we have to start electing leaders to positions that that will think the way that we think, that will want the things we want. Roe v. Wade, good education, universal preschool. We need childcare for everybody at every level so people can work. We have to fix the environment. I mean, there's so much we need to do. So find your passion, whatever that is, whatever you want to be involved with, and then go for it. And even if you're working in another job or whatever, find the time to change, to create change, because that's the only way we're going to get to where we want to be.
Given how divisive things have become in this country, and given the fact that women, I think, are bearing the brunt of this in terms of a lot of changes that have happened in our society, again, the Roe issue, healthcare issue, I mean, did you think we would ever be in an America where a woman is forced to carry
No.
a non-viable fetus? I mean, this is where we are. And so for women who are sort of in shock over this, what is your advice in terms of the immediate future? What can they do?
Elect Joe Biden.
Or get involved in politics?
Yes, I say to women everywhere, get involved. Don't be complacent. If you want to make change, you're the one that has to do it.
Yeah, even in a small way, if you can do something.
Yes, you can do something. Don't take anything for granted. Keep fighting for our freedoms.
Yeah. Dr. Jill Biden, thank you very, very much.
Oh, thanks, Mika.
We're going to continue this conversation, a mentoring event at the 3050 Summit on International Women's Day. I thank you so much for really giving a toast and kicking off the 50 over 50 list. And thank you for having us here today in the East Room of the White House.
Thank you. Come back.
Okay, I will when you win.
If it makes you feel any better, I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that.
General, I can assure you.
General, let me into the war room to see you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, when is it not, please? Okay, couple of things. I'm running low on the dough. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And, oh yeah, I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I was so damn weird going on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
The Megatron.
Ambush was just a diversion.
Security, please bring up. Rabbit, she's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. Boss readiness. What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We are facing a heavy sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark.
General, General, we need this evac immediately, General. Evac everything. National security evacuation. Stand down. Check it out. Failed their mission operations. The amateurs on a suicide mission.